everybody. Welcome to the Kids in Comedy Winter Graduation Show. Oh my goodness. We are so happy you're here. Thank you for tuning in and watching this. I'm really pumped for you to see all of the funny jokes these kids have made over the past few weeks. I would like to take this time to remind you to be active in the chat. If you like something, put some LOLs in the chat, maybe some crying face emojis, whatever you feel called to do. Just have fun in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Let us know you like it. It makes us feel like we're all together in one big show. So my name's Ashley. I've been the teacher. I have had the joy of getting to know your kids, and they're all really funny. Okay, spoiler alert, this is a great group. Really like great ideas, but also a commitment to seeing those ideas through and turning them into jokes and building a set. Do you know how hard it is to build a comedy set? It is like, it takes, like, you have to like really want to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I'm just so impressed with their ingenuity and productivity. I mean, I personally am having a hard time returning emails. So when kids come in with full jokes, I am blown away. But I think the email thing, I think we're all feeling that, right? We're all having trouble with the emails. I used to send one right away. I would send it in. I would respond within the hour, once I got an email. But now I wait like 2 weeks and I'm just like, sorry, I'm late. I've been laying in bed focusing on breathing, and everyone gets it. They get it right away. I don't know how I used to be so productive. I looked at my to-do list for this time last year and I was like, who wrote you? And why was she so committed to her completing tasks? Like, who was I trying to impress? Wonder Woman? I don't know what I thought I was going to get. It's like I was grasping at immortality or something. Like, maybe if I could just cross 10 things off my list today, I won't have to face death. And now I just kind of relax into wearing my pajamas all day. We are here to entertain you, which is a great part of this. Entertainment has been difficult, right, in the pandemic. I've created some games that I play at home with my loved ones. Maybe you can take some of these games and you can play them with your family if you'd like. It has gotten us through. It has kept us entertained. One of my favorite games I've created, it's called Heavy Arm, and it's when you just hold your arm over someone and you go, oh, my arm is so heavy. I don't know if I can keep it up. Oh, it's too heavy. And then you drop it on them. My other favorite game I love to play is called Guess Who, and you just kind of, you put your head into a room and you go, guess who? It's me. Another fun game we play around the house is Where's the Cat? Ooh, where is she? Where could the cat be? And then we try and find the cat, and then she's always in the sock drawer, and then we go, we found the cat. And then the game's over once the cat has been found. So that's fun. I feel like I don't know what I would have done without my cat. I'm so glad we got her, because we got her like 2 years ago. We rescued her. We rescued our cat. She was living on a farm in North Carolina. She had like some cat friends. They had a little creek they would go down to and hang out at the creek. And then we rescued her. We took her to a studio in Brooklyn. So we changed her life. She's really my first pet. I didn't have pets growing up. I had a Tamagotchi. Do you guys remember Tamagotchis? They're so cool. They're like little electronic pets you're supposed to keep alive. The creators of it actually won a Nobel Prize because it is supposed to teach children responsibility, because you have to like feed it and walk it and stuff. But it really just taught me not to get emotionally attached to pets. Something we like to do in this class is something called research topics, where we give your kid like something to like investigate, just like a fun little thing, like a fun little fact in history, like Napoleon was attacked by rabbits. Find out what that's all about. And then they come in with jokes and it's cool. And I like to do it based on my personal experience, because I have found that researching facts is so important. When I moved to New York, I was really worried about just kind of going to parties and not having anything to say. And so I memorized like a bunch of animal facts, because I was like, I know what I'll do. If there's ever a dip in the conversation, I'll just bring up an animal fact, and then everyone will be like, wow, that's the coolest person in the room. So my favorite animal fact that I brought up all the time was that a duck's quack doesn't echo, and nobody knows why. I used to just bring it up constantly. I said it on stage. I said it on a radio show, and like everyone would always be like, wow, that's so crazy. And I'd be like, yeah, nature. Woo, nature is magical. I don't know what she's going to do next. You know, it's like a fun thing to share. And then one time I was telling this guy, and he was like, that doesn't make any sense. Have you Googled it? And I was like, why would I Google it when it came to me in a chain email from my grandfather, you monster, okay? So then I went home and Googled it, and the first thing that came up was like, the dumbest myths about nature. If you believe this, you need to go back to school. So, you know, it just really, it goes to show you how committed I am to believing in the magic of nature, because my grandfather sends me like a chain email every day, and I'll be like, delete, delete. Oh, Russia is building an army under Detroit. Delete, delete. Oh, a duck's quack doesn't echo and nobody knows why. No need to research this further. I'm going to tell everyone I know. So that's why we assign research topics in this class. You are going to hear some today. You're going to hear some awesome sets. I'm so impressed. Like I said, I can't wait to get into it. And then keep that chat active. My question for you watching now is, are you ready for our Kids in Comedy winter semester graduation show? Yes, I see people going crazy in the little boxes. Great. I love it. This first comment coming up, oh my goodness, so funny. This is my first time working with them, and it was a true delight. I know you're going to love their set, so please give your attention to the very funny Gray Dixon, everybody.
Hi. Sometimes I notice that teachers go rogue with lesson plans. Like last week in my Mandarin class. My Mandarin instructor was teaching my class and me a Mandarin word that meant measurement. I thought an example of this would be like a carton of milk, or a loaf of bread or something. But she asked us what beer would be measured by. My first thought was, how would any 12-year-old know the answer to this question? Then I thought, is she trying to teach us how to become bartenders? Would next week's lesson be how to put the proper amount of salt on a margarita? You need an olive on that martini, Jerry. C minus for you. I told you to get Heineken, not Bud Light, Timmy. D plus for you. What kind of whiskey is that, Dave? What? You've got no idea? This is a disgrace. You're going to the principal's office. This got me thinking. Maybe I have to think outside the box on some things. Like, if I was building a bridge and I couldn't get titanium, the next best thing would obviously be toddler toys. If they can handle the physical abuse from toddlers, then they can certainly support a bridge. Toys take a lot of abuse, like getting covered in food, thrown across rooms, and even they can even withstand the mighty powers of the washing machine. If they can handle all of these things, then they can certainly be a structure that can help you get from point A to point B. Also, toddler toys are extremely emotionally strong. Like when Timmy grows up and puts the toddler toys up in the attic with the old Christmas decorations and the mice. You don't see the toddler toys getting weak. They take their emotional pain silently. In fact, toddler toys are so durable that people are going to dig them up in 1,000 years and be like, this is a profound discovery. It's a Build-A-Bear of 2016. Let's put it in the museum next to the T-Rex. While we're on the topic of children, I have recently become an expert on parenting. I have figured out a way to make children actually want to read. It's easy. All you have to do is turn on the TV and then put on the subtitles. I needed to test my theory, so I experimented on my little brother and sister. I considered them lab rats to remain objective as a scientist. And I got great results. My brother can't count past 20, but he can do a great Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. I'll be back after nap. Next week, we'll be viewing or reading SpongeBob and Godzilla, two great novels. Please consider buying my parenting DVD called I'm a 12-Year-Old and I'm a Better Parent Than You for only $9.99. As I am a professional in parenting, there are many other interests that can become a profession, like sledding. I think people enjoy sledding because it requires the minimal amount of effort. But I think that sledding should be a professional sport. Hey, we already have skiing and snowboarding. The only difference between them and sledding is that skiing and snowboarding make you stand up. I wonder how a professional sledder would act in a job interview. Hey, I'm Dan. I'm ranked 5th in the state for sledding. I practice my sledding technique 5 times a week by training in skate parks, and I'm extremely punctual. And that is why I want to become a mall Santa. Speaking of crazy ideas, I heard this conspiracy theory about the moon landing and how it was staged. I personally don't believe this, but it sure got me thinking. How could the casting of the moon landing go? I want to be Buzz Aldrin. No, your hair's too long, but you can always be part of Mission Control. Next, we have the set to consider. Was Earth in the background from the director's kids' science project? Next, would there be ads? We'll be right back after our sponsor, Milky Way Candy Bars. Then, the most important part, the teleprompter. It has to be checked all the time, otherwise it could have turned out like one small steep faux man. Thank you guys, and you guys have been a great audience.
Great job, Gray. One small steep for man. Love it. I've also been taking Gray's teaching tips. I've been watching Love Island UK with the closed captions on so I can learn British English. So thank you so much for that, Gray. You're changing my life. Wonderful job. One more time for Gray, everybody. Woo-woo! Let them know in the chat. Okay, our next comment coming to your screen. Oh my goodness, what a delight. First time here and just an absolute natural. We had so much fun working with this comic, and I know you guys are gonna love her. Please give this comic a warm welcome to your screen. Give it up for Celeste Flynn, everybody. Celeste Flynn.
Okay, so I feel like now whenever I see a kid that's my age, I just automatically don't like them. And I know the feeling's mutual. When I used to see kids my age, I'd just be like, oh look, we're both shorter than a fire hydrant. Let's be friends. But now whenever I see a kid my age, we just stare each other down until we can't look at each other anymore. I feel like it's some kind of survival instinct, I'm guessing, like, oh, this person's on the same level as me because they're the same age as me. That makes them a threat. They probably know everything about me just by looking at me. And all I know, and I also I feel like I just don't like the kids who dress the way I used to. Like, come on, you can let loose, wear a headband. And all I know is that tween girls can be brutal. So after giving him a death stare, I just move on because I don't want to deal with that. I've also noticed that me and other kids that I sort of know but not super well, whenever we see each other, we just pretend like the other person's not there. I mean, and when my mom sees someone she met on the bus 2 years ago, she'll go into a 30-minute conversation with them in the middle of the street and leave me to get hit by a bike. But if I see a kid that I sort of know but not really well, we just walk away from each other. I feel like it's because kids these days aren't really forced into situations where they have to talk to people they don't know. Most of our generation gets nervous when the waiter asks us what we want on the menu. But I feel like if I see a kid my age and we're just forced into a situation where we have to talk to each other, our conversation would probably look like this. Hi. And I just blurt out, I hate your haircut. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I probably just blurt out whatever's on my mind because I hate your haircut is probably one of the only things that could really keep a conversation going. But I think that's just why I should just go back to ignoring everyone. Recently I've seen that my parents like to talk about their food a lot. They will literally pretend like they're one of those food show hosts, like the flavoring is immaculate. And I don't really get it. When my friends and I are eating, we just sit there in silence. Usually we even go to Starbucks so we can sit in silence. It just makes things less awkward. I'm not really sure if it's something my parents think is polite. If someone tries to talk to me while I'm eating, even if they said something like, the Russians planted to bomb a mile from here and you need to leave, I just be like, dude, do you not see this? I'm eating. And then I just explode. Living in New York City, a lot of people always tell me, oh, you're so lucky to live in a place that it's like such a great place. I'm just like, yeah, thanks, Jessica. I'm so lucky that the 20 rats that run across my feet while I'm walking my dog are only trying to get into what's inside the trash cans on the side of the road and not my dog or my toes. Oh, and the creepy guy on the next block, Jessica? Yes, I'm so lucky there's only about a 70% chance he's gonna bother me. How about that? Greatest city in the world. And a few days ago, I was just walking around and I saw a building that was on fire. So I called the police. And I know you might be wondering, why would you call the police? Why not the fire department? Well, the building did have a no smoking sign on it. So I just thought the police would actually have the authority to remove the fire from the building. Another thing I think is just kind of weird is when people are like telling me about a movie they've seen and they compare it to another movie that has nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, I just watched the movie Wolverine. It's exactly like The Lion King, except, his brother kills his girlfriend and he becomes a superhero instead of his uncle kills his father and he becomes king. There are some real similarities there. Disney movies can be very violent if you think about it, and you just don't notice it because they're about animals or inanimate objects. When I was younger, I watched the movie A Bug's Life. Yeah, it still haunts me to this day. Thank you, everyone.
Great job, Celeste. Give it up for Celeste. Let her know in the chat how much you loved her set. So fun. I love using height as a deciding factor on whether or not you should be friends with someone. I think that I need to bring that back. You're right. Toddlers do that. I love that. But adults, we kind of abandon that. I also like something that is so important to me is now when I walk into a Starbucks and I just see a bunch of tweens sitting in silence, I know that that's the natural order of things and not to be alarmed. So thank you, Celeste. And also thank you for the encouragement to wear a headband. One more time for Celeste, everybody. Great. We have another comic coming to your screen, another comic who is graduating this semester. So funny. I have worked with this comic many times, and I can say on behalf of the entire staff, we are always delighted by how their brain works. We love them so much. Please give it up for the wonderful Emmett Pesca, everybody.
When I go to bar mitzvah themes, when I go to bar mitzvahs, they're all, for girls, they're always a few things. They could be dolls, or they could be hair. They could be I don't know, Candy Crush. They could be music. But when I go to a boys' bar mitzvah theme, it's either sports, or it could be sports, or another one that they have is sports. What I'm saying is, it's always sports. But one of my friends came up to me and said, Emmett, I have this incredible bar mitzvah theme. And I'm like, what is it? What's your incredible bar mitzvah theme? Sports. Wow, how did you come up with that? Was it possibly from the other 50 kids who did sports bar mitzvah theme before you? But instead of sports, everyone should have wallpaper as their bar mitzvah theme because wallpaper is more interesting than they are. Let's look at a comparison. For a sports theme bar mitzvah, you're going to have a football-shaped cake and a baseball-shaped cupcake. But for wallpaper, you just need to have a vanilla sheet cake with vanilla base. And someone's going to ask you, this is just white frosting on a vanilla base. And you say, it matches the wallpaper. How about games? Well, pin the wallpaper on the other wallpaper. Hide and go seek, but you can cover yourself in wallpaper. And my personal favorite, jousting, but with the inside tubes. But doesn't that classify the sport? Never mind, cross it out. I was walking into my dad's room, and I saw what he was doing, and he tells me, Emmett, can't you get out? Can't you see I'm doing something busy here? And I say, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I hate to disturb you from this oh so important work of you playing fantasy football. Fantasy football. And he says to me, oh yeah, did I tell you that my linebacker broke his hip? In your fantasy? This is your fantasy, and someone broke a hip and cannot play another game for a season of football. In my fantasy, there's a narwhal that shoots chocolate out of its blowhole. In your fantasy, you have this guy that broke his ankle and cannot play for a season of football. In my fantasy, there's a leprechaun that gives you 3 wishes. In your fantasy, you have this guy with coronavirus and cannot play a game because of that. In my fantasy, there's a magical unicorn that dances on top of a rainbow. In your fantasy, you have this guy named Odell Beckham Jr. What's so great about him? There are a lot of popular sayings that don't make sense. One, for example, is, it's as easy as pi. How is pi the mathematical constant that's divided by the circle circumference to its diameter that appears in many mathematical formulas that's approximately equal to 3.14159.265? Easy to you. Another one is, you are what you eat. I'm a fortune cookie. Here's your fortune. No, that's my liver. No, that's my kidney. Oh no, that is a fortune. It says, do what your heart tells you. I feel like. Wait, does this mean that everyone's a cannibal? That every human's a cannibal, or would that be you? Eat what you are. And the last popular saying that I don't understand is, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Well, I can imagine like at a party, like someone just like, yeah, passing around bread and going, what did you just do? Oh, I cut the bread, I didn't know. No. You just did the best thing since passing around giant loaves of bread and eating 3 at a time and passing it to the next guy. I have a question for you. If you buy some aluminum foil and you say, wow, this is the best thing since sliced bread, but then later in the day, you buy some dessert and say, wow, this is the best thing since sliced bread, what happens to this thing? Is this not the best thing since sliced bread? Is it like it pushed out of its position? Shouldn't it be, this is the best thing since that aluminum foil I bought? Or would it like reset every time someone cuts bread? So I can imagine like people going to a conference and saying, actually, I don't think that sliced bread's actually that good. Maybe we should do rocket science, or we could do modern meditation. Yeah, but have you ever had a really good BLT? Thank you. I didn't attend a sports team bar mitzvah. Bye.
Great job. Give it up at home for Emmett Pesca. Wow. Love just taking down fantasy football. I mean, some really important questions there about adults and what we're capable of, right? It could be anything. And here we are. Fun to see football. Love that so much. Also, a narwhal that shoots chocolate sauce out of its blowhole sounds like something. If anyone said, what fantasy would you make, Ashley, in a perfect world? I think that really just hit the nail on the head. Emmett's so funny. Give it up for Emmett in the chat. Let him know that you loved his set. Okay, we have 2 more comics for you, 1 more graduate, and then we have our intern Lev, who got to know your kids, and he's so wonderful, such an important part of kids in comedy. But this last comic is our last graduate of the show. This is his first time, and so funny and natural. We just loved having him in class. He made us laugh all the time, and you guys are going to love him. Please give it up at home for Tyler Bernstein, everybody.
Well, hello there. Hello. I'm a human, and I see you are too. So we already have some similarities. However, we both know that people can't agree on anything these days. If you go to the streets and scream, "We can't agree on anything," someone's bound to come and say, "Yes, we can agree on something," just out of spite. Even the stupid stuff we can't agree on. Some people think that quarantine is bad and masks are bad and COVID was invented in a lab inside a cave inside a UFO inside the White House. Speaking of quarantine, let's talk about quarantine. Mostly how people reacted to quarantine. No matter their beliefs, during the beginning of quarantine, every adult heard the call and just started jogging. No masks at that point in time, only jogging. Everyone jogged like they never ran since 1982. Was everyone just acting like Forrest Gump because Tom Hanks got COVID? And why not just exercise inside their homes? We didn't have to go outside. We could have lifted weights. I know how the first COVID spike in America happened, and it's because we didn't lift weights. One sad thing that happened because of COVID was camp getting canceled. But was that really a bad thing? Before, when I saw a bug, I wanted to protect it since it was one of Earth's creatures. Now when I see a bug, I remember how every mosquito ate me whole during camp. And I just want to grab it and send it to my non-existent basement. But in camp, you can meet lots of interesting people. Like Edwin, who curses for no reason and is a god at breakdancing. Or maybe ones like Logan, who everyone hates because he's annoying and also wasted his money on a back scratcher in Six Flags once. And if you want to call HR on a 12-year-old, we have Owen, who pees in a jar and tells people it's lemonade. Also, why do they call the cafeteria in camp the mess hall? I mean, it's definitely a mess in there, but actually I'd say it's a pretty accurate name. But if you want a way to fall down and lose all your dignity, try ice skating. To be fair, I have no idea who invented ice skating and why. All right, we need a new idea for a sport. Oh, how about this? How about we put knives on your shoes and then you waddle ever so slowly over a lake of ice because you're too scared to move any faster. Sir, you're a genius. And now ice skating exists. Now we have ice skating rinks with big stupid walkers that you know you're going to use for the first few hours. And are we going to glance over the shoe knives? You're like a literal Blade Runner. And as you can tell, I never watched Blade Runner. Anyways, I think I can let go of my walker now. Oh God, I've fallen and I can't get up. As you can tell, some people make bad decisions. It's what we specialize in. I would argue maybe that this comedy thing was a bad decision. So what did we learn today? Absolutely nothing, as expected. And I would like to quote my friend who lives in 34th Street drinking Red Bull at 3 a.m. when I say, "What is a town but a pile of sticks?" To that I replied, well, actually, no, that's technically correct. So that's one more life lesson. Anyways, why are you still here? Just go outside. Do what I'm too stubborn to do. Thank you and have a good day.
Great job, Tyler. Wow. I don't know what is so relatable about the idea of Logan, who spent all of his money at Six Flags on a back scratcher, but I feel like we've all met a Logan who did just that. Great job, Tyler. So funny. Love the set. Also, everyone did start jogging at the same time. And I did not realize that that was the case until Tyler brought that to class. And then I had to be like, how did I miss that? You know, it's something that's happening in front of you and you're also a part of it. So you might not connect the dots. So I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Let Tyler know what a great job he did in the chat. And as I said, we have one final comic. This person is just so important to this class. They were here from the beginning with your kids, helping them, giving notes, just telling them about what it's like to be a young comic out in the world. And we think they're so funny. We adore this comic. You guys are going to love them. Please welcome to the screen the very funny Lev Janicki.
Hi there, my name is Lev. I'm the teenage intern for this class. Did I make your kids funny? You decide. But yes, it was me. You're welcome. I'm sure they're much more charming and, just better people once they've met me. Sometimes I like to impart wisdom to them. It's just a thing I do. It's no biggie. One wisdom that I've imparted is that I've never met a happy English teacher in my life. You think about that? No English teacher is happy, and that's because being an English teacher is a sucky job. My old English teacher would post online assignments at 5 a.m. and she'd always do them with little taglines like, "Who's up with me?" Nobody, Kathleen Murphy. No one's up with you. I don't want to be up at 5 a.m. For some reason you do. You are the one who decided that your career will make you read 100 mediocre essays every week. I don't need that. You could have become a music teacher or a PE teacher. I don't think my PE teacher has stayed up till 5 a.m. ever. And he gets paid the same amount as you to teach me how to play volleyball. That's crazy. I used to have a PE teacher who was a Harlem Globetrotter. This man used to have the world record in dunk height, and he would rather teach me how to play badminton. I'm telling the kids, become a PE teacher when you grow up. It's obviously a pretty sweet gig. Another word of wisdom that I have is bar mitzvahs are a weird tradition. It's a really strange one that you become an adult at 13. I guess it made sense. When everyone died at age 30 of boredom or whatever. I don't think they had much going on. I was thinking about my bar mitzvah recently. Because my sister's going to have one. She's been 12 for just way too long. Bad year to be stuck in quarantine. I was thinking about my Torah portion. My Torah portion was super weird. It starts off with these guys called Nazarites who are like a cult within Judaism. Basically, they've got 3 rules, which is they can't cut their hair, they can't drink alcohol, and they can't touch dead bodies. The first 2 are no problem for me, but the third might get me in a little trouble, The funniest part about this is that there's an entire page of what to do if you are a Nazarite and a person dies on you. By the way, it's a total hassle. You got to find 2 pigeons and bring them to this guy and also a goat, and he's going to eat them. And if he likes them, you can still be a Nazarite. And if he doesn't like them, you have to shave your head. It's just I really don't want to do that. And so all I'm saying is if you're Nazarite and your friend Steve has cholesterol issues, maybe don't go in for a hug. There's no shame in that. Anyway, the next part of it is about women eating dirt, forcing them to eat dirt. I just want to remind you that this is a 5,000-year-old document and it's just maybe not the best role model. I find it so funny that these 2 are just right next to each other. It's you got your cult and my misogyny. You got your misogyny and my cult. 2 great tastes that taste great together. It's the Torah. The final part of my Torah portion is about these 12 guys giving gifts to Moses, except they all gave the same thing. And what they gave was 12 oxen, 3 incense candles, and a golden ladle, which I guess Moses should have put more on his wish list. I don't know. What I know is it's really got to suck to be the last guy to come in here with this, because Moses is standing here with 60 oxen behind him. And you just walk up with your 12 he's going to love what I got him for his birthday. Yeah. Um, you know, what I really can't believe though is that somebody wrote this down 5,000 years ago and said, you know what? This is what I'll base my religion on. This is it, guys. I think we've really struck gold. But I think it really shows that times have changed. I did not get a single oxen for my bar mitzvah. Disappointing. That's all the time that I have to share wisdom with you. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Great job, Lev. Give it up for Lev. Give it up for all of the graduates you saw today. Once again, I hope that chat is on fire with compliments about what a great job these kids did. I mean, can you believe it? It's going to really, it inspires me to do something today besides just lay in bed and stare at the wall. Listen, guys, we had a great show. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Emma Gonzalez, our teacher assistant. Thank you to Lev, our wonderful intern. Thank you to Joanne Grossman and Stu Morton, who are the heart and soul of Kids in Comedy. Thank you to all these wonderful kids, and thank you for you watching. And thank you to Matt, who's running this show and making it all happen. We couldn't have done this without all of you guys. So thank you so much. Remember to tell them what a great job they did, and have a wonderful day. I'm Ashley, and I'll see you in the future.